Hi everyone. So I'm gonna be doing a practice run. Um, Basically, keep an eye on the bottom down there. I do have it put there. There won't be any voice after this point, as I'm going to be focusing on the run. At 12:25, go ahead and jump over to the Twitch channel listed over there, and you'll be able to see the full commentary and the run then. Till then.
Yeah, bude vstýten tvej máša na kladách, tjeten majde, bude fina. Yeah, viime tehdä. Hyvä Tiina. Acá kami tu pase. Ya, permitirla. Oh, para kami. Oh, be the queen, mother of this, wait. Oh, detektif Masha anak badan. There's a mean. Acá no, Fittipaldi. Dito na kayo na. Oh, nakutin na. Yahoo! 특별히 나쁘다. 야, 무릎이 허락감이 미륵 마누라 티스웨디 애들 야, 무릎이 마기자 헤이 나는 바우세 ためにしだ
Hi. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Kelly Owen Cat, we from down to Magic Kelly. Yeah. Oh, Cat. Okay, I'll solve you that. Oh, Kelly. Yay. Du var rätt mycket. Jag stack mig av i Magic Kelly. Yeah.
Misty! I'm coming!
Okay. I think I got it how you want it there.
Is it working? There you go, it works. It's fine.
Alright.
I think we have your order coming to your stream as well. So, when you're ready.
Alright. I'm ready.
Okay. So you can do a countdown or just let me know when you're starting.
Alright. That'll work. I'll do a countdown from 3 then. So we'll start it up in 3, 2,
Cool.
1, and go. Now, for those that haven't really seen this before, I'm not gonna be one of those that have it done at the 31-minute mark like the world record for it is, but I feel like I've gotten a big improvement over my time over doing it, and quite frankly, I like the way the run looks. So, one of those, would I like a faster time? Definitely. But I'm not dead set on it, because Odyssey's one of those weird games where the movement is everything kind of deal. But basically, Cap is kind of just a tutorial world where in Cap Kingdom you're kind of learning how to use Happy, which is the name of our little hat friend there. So you'll see a lot of tutorial prompts right out the bat. Case in point, like right there where we saw about the telling me to either shake the controller or press Y to throw the cap. Unfortunately, the other issue with Cap is we do have another cutscene right there, and basically showing how Mario becomes the frog. Yeah, speedrun, so we don't touch it really. And as you could see, I was moving faster with the frog by jumping, so that's why that is a thing there. Coming up, we actually have one of the first, I guess you could call it a boss fight in the game. They're honestly more jokes than anything else. But this is Topper. If I gave him the time to actually do his moves, he would throw those hats in basically a circular motion. It's one of those he'd slam his head on the ground and spin them around. Yeah, we don't give him the time to do that because you can knock him off of him quick. But as I said, Cap kind of serves as that tutorial, so this is the entire first kingdom there. In longer categories, you do come back to it. Like, for instance, Dark and Darker Side. Both of those actually come back to Cap at some point. As for us, that was the first and last we see of Cap. Now we're on to our prehistoric kingdom of Cascade. We're basically just getting a few moons here and finding our ride to go around to the rest of the kingdoms. So honestly, this is one of those where movement is key, because there is one, I wouldn't necessarily say major skip, but there is one big skip coming up, and it's, I'm sure everyone knows T-Rex skip. This is honestly one of those where it's a case of precise placement, not necessarily knowledge of anything else. But I'm getting the biggest capture of the game, quite literally. Even the game kind of makes a comment about stuff like that. And what it boils down to, which I missed it there, no worries, we'll have a second shot at it. Having to break out a backup mode. But it's one of those that if essentially you want to get the T-Rex's left foot to land on that little trampoline, and yeah, he just kind of goes up in the air and allows you to jump out of him and get to this boss fight without a ton of platforming. Now the reason I said I had to get a backup mode was because of the fact of if you miss T-Rex skip, you actually wind up losing a little bit of time doing it the normal way. So what I usually do is I go ahead and get that moon that I just got there. That way I don't have to pick up a moon after this fight. It's just get in the Odyssey and go. Plus, I've found out that if you miss T-Rex skip for whatever reason, then you're honestly quicker to get that because you're almost right there at it anyhow. By the time you turn the big T-Rex around, yeah, it just kind of doesn't work. The Mama Brutal fight, as you see, there is quick ways to go about it. Had I missed one of those, I would have had to have waited on her to kind of chase me around until I could get the chain chomp. So definitely there's time that can be lost there. But now it's time for us to get our ride and get out of Cascade. Honestly, where those chain chomps are there's a path to the right, and that's actually what all T-Rex skips out on. That's a mouthful to say. But we now have our ride. And with that, we are going to go straight into, honestly, the kingdom I hate the most, sand. I say hate, but it's one of those that this is honestly the one I have the biggest fit with. I've got a route I'm going to do just in case, but I'm going to try to show off the two things that I have been far inconsistent with. And it's actually 2 bullet bill skips. The first one's almost free. The second one, it took me a little bit to realize what I was doing wrong. So yeah, that's one of those. This can be a little bit of a challenge. Now I'm getting a moon that I technically don't have to get, and it's the one behind the shop here. The reason I say that's because if you can get the bird moon, either early bird or over in the Oasis, you can actually skip out on getting this. The thing is, I feel like it's not too safe for me anyhow. So we're just gonna sit here and wait for a second. Smack the bird to get the moon to show. Grab the moon. And into the pipe. Now technically at this point this would be our number 3 moon. Like I said, I grabbed that one more as a safety net, because if I mess up the 1 bullet bill that I've been having problems with, then it's just easier for me to ignore it. there's enough moons for me to make it work. Also, precision pounding. As you saw, that's easy to miss. Okay, I've never had that happen. I can honestly say that. I'm just gonna kind of work around it, and unfortunately that means that if I don't get the bullet bill, I'm still gonna have to get another moon. It shouldn't be a problem. There is 2 moons over in the Oasis there that is easy to get. So I'm probably just gonna use the other one if I have to. But normally what you want to do is you want the ground pound to actually go off on that ice cube, and then you can get up on the arch. Now this is the first of the 2 bullet bills. This one's pretty much free because it's intended. I say pretty much, but you can still mess that up. It's one of those, if you don't jump out of it early, Mario more goes into a falling animation because of the explosion. So it causes you to completely miss that. However, like I said, because it is free, it's pretty much a case of the developers wanted it. In here we go and grab our treasure, but we don't really need all of it. Now if this was an any percent run, when I do them, I usually do. I don't think everyone else does. I missed that little wall jump there, which that's a minor time save, but any time save is a good one. And we're fixing to come up on the second bullet bill skip. Now, this one is not my favorite one. I would rather not do this one because when I first did it, I had it down pat. But that little side of the face there, you have to actually hit. If you miss that side for any reason, you're dead. And it's because it jets out just enough to where you can actually get a decent wall kick and pull it off. Now, had I not missed the icicle pound, right now we would be going back to the Odyssey. Because I missed the icicle ground pound, because I feel like it ate inputs, we're coming over here and actually getting a different bird moon. Them little birds are telling you, hey, there's a moon here. Get it. And now we go to the Odyssey. Because, you know, Sam's overrated. We don't have a boss to actually go for, so we're out. And that's honestly weird because I think this is actually, at least for the any percent route, this and Lost might be the only 2 that you don't have some kind of a boss to fight. But yeah, the boss for Sam, if you were doing one of them longer routes that I was mentioning, would actually be Harriet. We won't be seeing her. If this was an any percent run, we still would because you'd get the refight, but yeah, because it's not, we don't get to see her again.
Probably the winner. Oh, Murakami. Oh, be the queen mother of this week. Oh, let the smash on the
Now, this has to be probably one of my more liked kingdoms overall, if I don't decide I'm going to pause for no discernible reason. And it's more because of the movement that's involved. As I completely goof it up. And the reason I say it's because of the movement is there's some cheap movement that's awesome if I can pull it off. Obviously, sometimes talking and running never ends well. Now, I actually just do a long jump coming out of that, more so because of the fact of it auto dives you into the water. So it's one of those that kind of helps speed up the process instead of having to stop and just go straight for getting underwater. Not to mention, as you saw, if I'd pulled off the cap throw, I could have about captured the cheap right there in front of that moon. Now I am going to be quiet for a second here because this one can screw me up. But that was cheap jump. And we're fighting Rango. Oh, and he's gonna be a pain. This boss, it is pretty much impossible to wind up getting killed on. I say pretty much, but it can happen. I was actually practicing the other day, and yeah, I died. But basically, if you mess up, just dodging. That one's a super easy. It's a case of if you miss the quick strats, just dodge. Don't get hit. I got gutsy, decided I was gonna try, and yeah, that killed a run for me. Because I missed the checkpoint and I died, so I had to start back at the Odyssey instead of actually at the checkpoint right before him. But one of the few kingdoms we're actually bringing peace to. Lake is at peace. We kind of just left sand in a whole mess, but so far we're helping others. It's all good. This is just movement to the wooded, so I guess if we've got any donations, that's probably a good time for it.
I don't think we have any donations at the moment, but this actually gives me the reminder that if anybody does want to donate, just go to the Just Giving site and donate.
Alright, so we are coming into Wooded. This actually has one of the first rabbit moons. I actually, in the practice run I just did before this, I somehow got ahead of the rabbit. One of those, I haven't done that before, so I'm like, with each of those rabbits, if you don't get them early, some of them can be more of a pain than others. That one's not as bad because he only goes around that big rock, so you usually can kind of... It's not so much a resetting him, but you can coax him into a point where it actually benefits you more. And now we're just traveling up this waterfall to get to the rest of Wooded. But while we're going, we're going to get us a couple of nut moons. I am so glad I actually pulled that off. The last few times I've been doing runs of Festival Percent, I have been missing that. That is honestly the kind of movement that you want to see for that switch. Because it gets you farther down that hole. I can't remember as far as I've seen, but I have seen some pretty decent movement for that too. And I'm gonna apologize for this sub area in advance because I do not do it justice. Like, I've got that first one down. It's this one that I either throw Cappy way too early, or I wind up doing some kind of bad movement and it just says no. Whoops. I knew that would happen. Wow. Yeah, I apparently had just the right angle, and I knew that was going to happen in advance there, so... Typically, there is another movement. The one that I do for it I like more is the only reason I've not fooled with learning the actual speed strat for that. And if you're ever playing casually, do not fall in that pit. Unless you are intending to go to the deep woods, do not fall in that pit. One of my very early any percent runs, I fell in that pit. And it's like, I didn't quite get that one as quick as I've seen others do it too, so that's not bad. That's about as quick as I've ever pulled that off though. I have yet to get back to that moon before the coins start flashing. And then we're just gonna break another nut up here to then get our big long jumps. Now these, if you're wanting to try any kind of speed strats in a casual sense, go ahead and try stuff like that, because so far I have managed to mess up and not go into the deep woods on those, so I think that's pretty forgiving. And we're just going to give us a couple fights before we meet our next Brutal. This next one, he's not the bane of my existence, but boy doesn't he try my patience sometimes. But say hello to Sputer, whose gimmick hopefully will not get to be shown off. But yeah, he decides he wants to live up to his name and spew all over the stage. Luckily, he didn't get to make a mess. I made sure he cleaned it all up. And that is actually not Peace for Wooded. It's funny because so far beating the Brutals winds up showing that, but from what you see in a speedrun sense, and that's funny because that's actually not the case. Sand actually goes on farther story-wise than Harriet, and Wooded, as you just saw, still has stuff going on past here, so that's actually two kingdoms that still don't come to peace even after you beat the Brutals. But going on, it looks like we're going straight to Metro, right? Except maybe for those that have not played the game, I hate to break it to you, but no, we're not getting off that easy. Because we have a certain reptile that decides he's gonna say otherwise. I guess he's a reptile. But none other than Fancy Pants Bowser is saying no. None shall pass. Now there is a quick strat to capturing the hats. I've not took the time to learn it because I managed to mess up mine. Look, the way that I do it, let alone trying to learn something new right now. Hopefully I'll be 2 for 2 today and I'll actually pull it off without mess-ups, but I have a bad habit of trying to jump ahead of myself, no pun intended. There we go. Basically, you do want to make sure you get Bowser on the first try. Because if you don't, then yeah, you're losing a good bit of time. And I think that's actually twice that I've pulled that in one try on each of those, so I'm pretty impressed with myself today. But now we see Lost, the place where we crash landed because, you know, Bowser decided he was going to make sure that we didn't progress forward. Well, what he didn't realize was that the Odyssey runs off of moon power, so all I got to do is just get a few moons and back up we're going. I hate that tree, by the way. Sometimes you get the triple jump, sometimes the triple jump just says no. But we're gonna grab us about 10 moons here. And then we're gonna just hightail it to chase after Bowser again. Now, that bird is the whole reason why I waited and went around the tree. If you walk too far away from the Odyssey, you'll auto-trigger a cutscene. If you auto-trigger that cutscene, you lose Cappy and have to go through this part of the platforming without him. It is slow, it is obnoxious, and it is not speedrun effective. Because, you know, Cappy is speed. Now, I've not ever looked for a good path for Lost. I just kind of make one up as I go a lot of the times after I've kind of been away from running it for a little while. But I've noticed here recently, I always seem to go back to this pathing. So I feel like that's probably my fastest anyhow. And that's lost. We get to see the Odyssey doesn't get beat that easy. Bowser can smack it down, but it gets right back up and goes again. And with that, we get our last movement into Metro. Now, Night Metro has a couple of, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's more precise skips. We'll get to see the first one really soon, and it's a case of we get to climb a skyscraper. If I don't miss my jump. I knew that would happen. Although I'm glad that I messed up there and not on the skyscraper. Yeah, in light of that, I'm just gonna do it this way. Wow. Okay, that, for those that don't know, that actually just happened to be in the practice too. I think I'm getting off on my placement. Wow. That's what I wanted. Okay. Time to debate a moon grab, because yeah, we don't need that moon. We're actually only here to, you know, get to the festival. We don't care about moons now. But that build and skip, like I said, it's not so much it's complicated, it's that it's very precision based. So as you saw, I was off just a little bit and it was enough to make a problem. This next skip, I'm gonna try not to go too fast on it because I have messed myself up too many times with it. But basically, you're trying to do that while the camera's trying to fight you tooth and nail. It's faster to do that than to platform across. If you're like me and when you first tried it, you are inconsistent repeatedly at it, it's probably better just to take the little bit of time loss and just go with it. Now, as far as for me, the only way for Mecha Wiggler to go good is if he's a 2-cycle. That first cycle you have to deal with. He's gonna go through all of this. There's nothing you can really do about it. This part's gonna happen. The next is more a player-controlled side of it. Cool, it looks like I'm getting the same kind of pattern I did the last time. Maybe this will work. But this is more RNG part right here. Ooh, that was close. That was almost a 3 cycle. And what can happen is, as you saw, a lot of my shots were taking out 3 at a time. Yeah, sometimes the game can say, no, they take out 2, or 1, or the game might decide, okay, you were off just a little bit, so it's going to take these 3 instead of the 3 you were aiming at, and it's like, that can happen so often and cause a 3 cycle. So that fight is obnoxious, and that one legitimately is probably the one I hate the most. So I'm honestly glad I got that 2 cycle. Now, this movement that I've got for the musicians, I'm not gonna say it's probably the smoothest, but it's at least the most consistent for me. So what I usually do is I hit that checkpoint, and then I just go ahead and roll, because sometimes checkpoints in New Donk City can be a little too lengthy. So I go ahead and I just roll. Then I usually try to take out the heavy platformer first, because he's the problem. There's another way you could go about doing it, which involves coming from the top, but honestly, if you're only going for festival percent, then it's not worth it. Next, I go see our buddy Otep over here. And I always try to be quiet while he says Otep. That way chat can go wild. But that's 2 of them, and the third one is literally this drummer. So I just say, "Hey, you want to move inside?" You're kind of on that poster behind you there, so let's just go in. Now this last one, there's a reason I got that checkpoint at the beginning. The reason why was so that I could go ahead and just warp there. Because that is actually where our last guy is. We rolled right past him. And then later right to him. So now that the band's together, we're gonna find out that we've still got something we gotta do before the festival can go on. Something about there's some kind of problem with their underground power, and yeah, we're plumbers, so we gotta go fix it. So let's just go fix it, because you know, that's part of the hero mantra. I love how I can bonk on that until I go to do, yeah, that was makeup for the bonk. I can bonk on that first part until I get into the pipe, but usually in here it's some kind of stupid movement that I do. Yep, much like that. But it worked. Bop. Wow. And typically, whenever you see these platforms, you do whatever's in the room and you just stand there. The less time you've got to move after that moon comes into play, the better. But yeah, usually that other room with all the moving platforms, I can usually maneuver that good. It's when you first come out of the pipe that I usually wind up managing to bonk on every corner. And I don't know how. Because as you see, it can be done without bonking. But we are coming up on the end of the run, because now that we've got power, it becomes nighttime, because that's how that works, right? Right? You turn the lights on and it becomes night. Yeah, anyhow, I don't know why we wait that long, but we got power. We can do the festival. So, because of the way festival percent is, time actually is coming up when I hit the moon at the end. Well, the multi-moon, I should say. So you'll see me do a little dialogue with Pauline, and then that's when it'll happen. This is honestly a lot of just decent platforming. I found out recently that you can completely skip that, and it really doesn't cost any time. And here's the classic throwback for all you DK fans that I now have to do without getting hit. And go ahead and get ready on time, because it is coming up right now. And I believe, to put that in perspective, that was only about a half a minute behind my PB. And it all boils down to sometimes my nitro is not the best, and that movement problem I had at the beginning is really what killed it. It's funny because that same skyscraper has now killed 2 different runs.
Okay, so that was... But
that's about all I've got to say on that one.
Sorry about that. So it was 4108 on mine, but I think in the middle of that there was like a pause though, so...
Yeah, I did notice that OBS decided it wanted to act funny.
Yeah, the stream kind of cut out a bit, so...
I usually, whenever I do any kind of marathon runs anyhow, I always
yeah, so we got
time it
4108
on
on that one, but you know.
I think it only messed it up a few seconds there, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a fun category. I do recommend...
Yeah, not a problem with that all there. So.
I do recommend that if anyone's got the game and wants to try it, definitely go for it. You might not be good to start, but it's one of those, as you get used to different movements, you can narrow it down way greatly on that. But I guess that'll take care of it for me then.
Okay, hold on a minute, just put Discord back on so it's real time. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so we got that sorted out. So 4108, 4104 on yours, but it was not too big of a deal really. But yeah, thank you very much.
Not a problem.
So yeah, just want to put the interval back on. So next.
parole. Barbina. Bigolli. Livatine. Busiate. Picci. Picci.
And for everyone watching on the TGSN, which I am going to be throwing a raid over to the Insta Speedathon to go ahead and let everyone keep on going with it. Give me just a second while I get all of this up, and then we'll pass it over to them and let it keep going. And if anyone wants to check it out tomorrow, me and Peace will be coming back with some